Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Lucore Automotive. Clearly today we are not at Lucore Automotive. We are still at Barber Motorsports Park here just east of Birmingham, Alabama. Unfortunately, as you can tell, it's also a wee bit on the wet side and cold. First track day of the year. Yesterday went very, very well. Weather stayed away all day until about 3 o'clock. We already got plenty of track day fun in and all the testing we needed to do. Unfortunately, the rain rolled in and it stayed around. And today is a very soppy, wet, terrible, cold, horrible morning. So, we're gonna start this video here at Barber Motorsports Park, where some people are crazy enough to be enjoying themselves. But I've got a 600-mile journey back home to get to Columbus, and then we're gonna have a little conversation with the actual Fields Auto Works people that invited us down here and check out more in detail about their Cardinal coupe. So, I'm gonna pack up, get in my warm car, head back to Columbus. I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, it's miserable. Ooh. Trucker rolled it on the turn. Woof. That's gonna be an experience. Right into the wall. Lost another one. It's a car this time. Another one off the road down there in the ditch. And this dude is going 30 miles an hour. Ugh. That's less than optimal. Just realized it's 2 o'clock in the morning on Martin Luther King Day, so I bet these plow guys are getting overtime. Well, they would be getting overtime if they were actually plowing. Guys jackknife all the way across our lane onto the southbound. Don't have a lot of company out here tonight. For those who are unfamiliar with this section of 71, this is between Washington Courthouse and Columbus, so about 30 miles south of Columbus, but you may want to know why I don't stop for the night and call it a night. Well, you may notice a severe lack of civilization. This section of 71 is basically just farmland with no towns or exits or anything, which is also partially why we're getting so much drifting snow, and additionally the fact that it is actually snowing. So there's really nowhere to stop. You just kind of keep on plodding along. And it is, yeah. Morning. Pay no attention to the Christmas trees. Shh, don't worry about it. Almost home. Almost home. That is the only guy that has passed me in hours that's not a semi-truck. And it's a Subaru. Alright, that's cheating. I've not seen a plow in quite some time. But hey, this is Interstate 71. Right there is Columbus. You just can't really see it through the snow. Maybe you can a little bit. Yeah, you can see some of the downtown buildings. But yeah, not a lot of plowage going on here. But that's okay, because Olga, the Volvo wagon, get it done. Get me home. Oh, home sweet home. Just before 3 a.m. All right, we can finish this conversation in the morning. 3 a.m. I've been on the go since 5:30 yesterday morning. We'll talk about this tomorrow. See you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's 20 degrees outside. As you can see, I survived my drive back. And as I mentioned in the previous video from day one in Barber Motorsports Park, one of the nice things about that HPD driving type stuff is it's very good for driver education to teach you what your car does at and beyond the limit. So I survived that drive with no problems. So we're on our way over to the new Fields Auto Works building, which is quite literally just around the corner from our shop. As you saw, I just left the shop. And I am almost to the new Fields Auto Works building. Yep, it's right here. So, that was convenient. Gonna swing in here, talk to these guys a bit, see how the Cardinal survived the weekend. You saw in the previous video where the front splitter was missing off the E46. There it is. It's a pretty nifty little piece of engineering here. For you airplane folks, you may recognize some of the materials used here, but it literally just ripped out of essentially ripped out of the mounting points. This thing is physically all still here. These are mounting tabs that are still have stuff on them. I just ripped off the mounting pieces. Well, there you go. The Cardinal you guys saw blasting around the track. We are a couple of days after we got back from the track. Couldn't get over here to see this thing, but there she is in all her glory. Now, they've done a lot of changes as far as before we went to Barber, because they're testing some more stuff. This is still a kind of a car in development. This is their test mule vehicle. So this is torn down considerably more than what normally would happen after a track day. The nice thing with this thing, and something I really want to harp on, is the cost of running this thing compared to cars of comparable power and capability. So typically speaking, on track, the cars we were running with were like GT3 Porsches, the C7 Z06, the ZL1 Camaro, all of those vehicles that make, 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower. But those are, generally speaking, street cars that are modified to run as race cars. However, they still have a lot of extremely expensive components, and that's one of the hidden, really serious costs about going racing, is the massively expensive costs associated with racing. It's not the $300 admittance fee that's going to cost you the money. That
that is difficult about going racing. It's the little bits. It's the, how much do my brakes cost? If you want to do something that will make your stomach turn, look up what the cost of a brand new ZL1 Camaro front rotors and pads are. Look up a Z06 Camaro or a Z06 Corvette. Look and see what those pads and rotors cost. The rotors on these cars, because they are two-piece Willwoods, you don't replace the hats. You just replace the ring right here. That ring is $100. Pads or Hawk pads, they're $100. So all told, all the way around the car, you can replace all pads and rotors on all four corners for $600. And because this thing doesn't weigh much, again, it weighs 1,800 pounds. Depending on the way you drive, typically speaking, you're gonna get 10 weekends. 10 weekends out of a set of brakes. So $600, 10 weekends. For most of us, 10 track weekends is basically an entire season. But it's also a fourth, maybe a fifth of the price of what you're gonna get out of another vehicle. And let's not even talk about a GT3 Porsche. What are the brakes cost on one of those things? So one of the big benefits of these cars is the fact that, yes, you do have to spend the money to buy the expensive vehicle. It is a track day car. But that is the cost, that's a cost you're gonna pay anyway when you're going out and doing track day stuff. Where this really starts to shine is the fact that it has very low costs of running the vehicle. Your tires that this thing runs on, they're $225 a piece, and they last about 5 weekends. 5 weekends. So you're gonna have, essentially if you work that out, on a year, if you're gonna have a full schedule of racing, you're gonna have $250 to $300 a session and a weekend for, you know, consumables on one of these things, versus you could have 5 or 6 or 7 times that on a lot of those more heavy vehicles, and it turns exactly the same lap times. One of the things that you really will notice, and I mentioned this in the first video, is because of the fact that this thing is so lightweight and it's so sorted out and it's built specifically to do just this, it's actually a very pleasant place to be. It's not hot and abusive and vibrating and terrible and loud. It's none of those things. When you're stripping out a street car to be able to make it into a race car to be able to compete with this thing, typically speaking, you make the car horrible to be in just to be able to go the kind of speeds that this thing does. And the speeds we were doing around Barber are serious. I mean, they're cup level type racing. The grid life people that were out there, those are fully track prep grid life guys, and most of the times we were running better track speeds than they were, or on very similar times. So, you know, when you can compete with $200,000 race cars out there, and you're way less expensive to be able to the original purchase price, and then your maintenance costs are considerably even less than that, it's really where this thing shines. And I'll be honest, as soon as I came back, Rich and I were in the shop and talking about what this car does and the potential of this platform. And to talk about something else we're working on is the Capri project. We actually do have more than one of those Capris, and we have really kind of leaned on the idea of maybe building one with one of these 2.3 Ford Mustang motors. With a Tremec 6-speed, you know, you've got a decent amount of money involved there, but this thing is making 300 horsepower in bone stock trim. Nothing else. You can, with a tune, find another 50 horsepower with this thing. With an intercooler upgrade, with a couple of small upgrades, you can make 450 horsepower out of one of these little 2.3s and still get good fuel economy, and it still runs on pump gas. Like that feature is amazing. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of the under the skin here, and touch base with these guys one more time once we got out of the track day. And again, thank you very much to Fields for their hospitality and being able to enjoy this thing around the track at Barber. Hopefully you guys have watched that. If you haven't, please click on this little button up here. Go back and watch that video. It's a longer video. It's like 45 minutes long, but it gives you on-track experience and a bunch of other stuff all around Barber. It's a great video. I really appreciate it if you go watch it if you haven't already. You will definitely see more of this car. This is actually headed to Daytona next weekend. We are not headed to Daytona. We have a lot of work stuff to do, but we will definitely catch up with the Fields guys again here in the very near future. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I survived my drive through the cold, and it's still cold and terrible up here in Ohio, but We're going to go on to bigger and better things. We've got more Capri content coming and a whole bunch of other stuff because it's work season here in Ohio. So thank you very much for watching. Please do click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop a comment in the comment section below. What do you think about the Fields Auto Works Cardinal? Are you a track day person? Are you an HPDE person? Do you do grid life? Apparently I really need to come see some GLTC grid life stuff because apparently it's really quite crazy now as everybody has really leveled up their game over the last year or two. So there will definitely be some more grid life stuff involved. But anyway, click on the like button. You made it this far. You've listened to me enough. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.